My friends, welcome back to another exciting episode of Drawing with Your Kids. We have a treat for you today. Joining us from North Carolina is the author and the illustrator of Don't Wash Winston. Please welcome Ashley Belote. Ashley, how are you?
I am so excited to draw.
Excellent, excellent. Before we get into the lesson, you told me that you have wanted to be an author, illustrator, an illustrator of kids' books like forever.
Yes, I have. I cannot remember a time in my life when I didn't want to be a bookmaker. I have always loved the visual aspect of books. And in second grade, we had a project to write and illustrate our own story. So that was kind of the first time I dabbled in the writing aspect of it and loved it. I thought, oh, the words are a great way to help the pictures tell the story. So that's where my process kind of started. So now I write and draw, and it's a wonderful kind of meshing of those two art forms. And I always start with the drawing part though, because it's really hard for me to make up a story about a character that I can't see or visualize. So drawing is always my first stop. And it's also typically what inspires a story is a sketch or a drawing that I've done. Again, I'm so visual, but after having practiced the writing and getting more into the writing, it's really become a daily part of my process as well.
Awesome. And you are also telling me that Don't Wash Winston kind of based on a true story.
It is. Okay. So my favorite teddy bear is named Winston, and Winston has been with me since I can remember, probably for as long as I've wanted to be an author and an illustrator. And Winston went with me everywhere, including to every cross country meet, every time I had to take a trip, and to college. And I was coming home from college riding with a friend of mine, and Winston, of course, never got packed in my bags, of course. Winston got prime seating, usually in the front seat or on the top of a pile of stuff. So in this case, there was a friend underneath my pile of stuff and his stuff. So he held the bear with his things, and I got home and unloaded my car and took Winston inside, and I was getting ready for bed that night and picked up Winston, and Winston did not smell normal. Winston smelled like a dude and my friend's cologne. And I was like, oh no, this is not what Winston is supposed to smell like. So I was with my mom, and she started to suggest we put him into the washing machine. But before she could even say the word washing machine, I said, absolutely not. And she said, oh, thank goodness. That would have been way too scary for me too. So we took some dryer sheets and patted Winston down. Winston has returned to normal, and it did not take a very long time. But that was kind of the seed of the idea. And it's taken over 10 years for me to get this idea into the form that it needed to be. So this concept has been extremely loyal to me and has really grown as I have grown.
Well, awesome. Hey, can you teach us how to draw Winston?
Oh, I would love to. Winston is one of my favorite characters that I've ever created. So this is very special.
Excellent. Okay, so let's go to the lesson.
All right. All you'll need is a pencil, and if you want, a pen to outline it with at the end.
All right, everyone. So we are going to learn how to draw Winston from Don't Wash Winston today. Just to recap what Winston looks like here. Big, fun, super purple teddy bear, which I loved creating this character. So much fun. Whenever you start to draw a character, it's important to kind of start with like a skeleton and then kind of work your way outward. So we're going to draw Winston sitting down today, and I'm actually drawing on animation paper. I worked in animation for a while, and I just love how this paper works with pencil. So we're going to start out with one circle that will represent Winston's head, and then we're going to kind of overlap slightly with an oval. Now, typically when you're drawing characters, you use these cross pieces to kind of indicate where the face will fall. So, and then we will draw some more ovals for Winston's limbs. So again, Winston is sitting down. So we're just going to draw an oval for this leg and then an oval for this leg, an oval for this arm where it will fall, and then another oval, almost like a bean shape, where this arm will be. So that's kind of, you know, the basis of Winston here. So now we can start filling in with some detail work. So again, we're going to start with the nose here, and the nose is just an upside down triangle. So we're going to start with that here, upside down triangle. I always say that when you're learning to draw something, if you break it down into shapes like this, it's so much easier to learn. So then we're going to make another triangular shape for like Winston's muzzle area where a bear's nose and mouth would be, and it's basically a triangle, but we're going to curve those lines slightly versus a pointy triangle. Okay, and Winston is a teddy bear, so there's lots of patches on Winston, so his eyes are actually sewn in through a patch. So we're going to make one eye here, and on the other side make another eye over here. So you can already see Winston kind of coming through our drawing here. This is where the eyes are, so we'll do one circle here and one circle here. And Winston does have little teeny tiny eyebrows, so we'll put 2 lines here. Fun fact about the book, in about half of the drawings of Winston in the book, I forgot Winston's eyebrows. And I noticed on our last round of proofs, and I had to go back in and add so many eyebrows. But that's why we proof. All right, next we're gonna work on Winston's ears. So we have like the top of the head running up here. So the ears are gonna fall up here, 1, and then the other one will be kind of set back slightly for 2. All right, now we're gonna craft Winston's face because Winston's face is not a perfect circle. So we are going to kind of finalize this circular line back here, but up here we're gonna bring this line in a little bit and then bring it back out. And that creates kind of like a cheek here for the side of Winston. And that gives him a little bit more of an iconic kind of feature versus just the circle. So we've got that now. So Winston wears these great yellow striped overalls, which I love. I love deciding what accessories and clothes characters will wear. So that was a really fun one. So Winston's got these great overalls. So we're gonna follow this line kind of the bottom of Winston's face here. And we'll make this arm a little bit more defined. It'll kind of come out there at the back. And then we'll also kind of finalize this line. And for the legs, also finalize this line. So flatten this out a little bit. Again, Winston is sitting on the ground here, so the bottom of this leg would be a little bit flat, kind of like this one's a little bit flatter. And we'll finalize this line here. So you can see as you draw in the darker lines, your sketch lines are becoming kind of lost in the background here, which is what we want to have happen. And then this arm is kind of coming up and resting on Winston's stomach here. So we'll bring that forward. All right, now we get to add the fun stripes for the overalls. So we just want to make them kind of round and follow the roundness of the stuffed animal here. And now we get to add in some of the details that I absolutely love working. I always tell audiences that when you're making up a character, the more little details that you can add to it to make it unique, the better. So we're gonna add some stitching in here because again, Winston is a stuffed animal. So we wanna see the stitches that make Winston. And there's also a line of stitches here at the top of the overalls. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and the same thing on the feet. We'll see some stitches, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And over here as well, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and we also see a great line of stitches around where each leg comes into the overalls here, so you can see that as well. And now we can add some details. We do have a little oval with some stitches in the ear, and these are getting to be super tiny details, you know. And you can feel free to add, you know, kind of your own flair to your drawing of Winston. I do have a patch on Winston's arm that appears on this one. And you draw these little lines to show that the patch is sewn on. Winston has patches on him because Winston has been loved so much that Winston probably ripped a couple times and had to be fixed. So you can add some patches to your Winston wherever you feel like they should be. And the last thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that there's a ground line underneath of our character, because right now Winston is floating. This is not about Winston in space. So you just want to add some lines underneath of the character to indicate that Winston is indeed on the ground and not trying to float away. So there we have the pencil sketch of Winston. And if you want to take it one step further to more of a final drawing, you'll just need a pen. I've got a ultra fine point Sharpie. I love using these when I'm making like pen and ink drawings, but this will help you to go over your final lines. And you could actually even erase your pencil lines if you wanted to after you let the Sharpie kind of sit in for a couple minutes, just to make sure that you don't smudge. And you just follow those final lines, and you can also fill in some of the parts that are going to be dark, like Winston's nose on mine is dark. Unless you want to change the colors on yours, that is totally fine. I always say when you're drawing a character that already exists, you know, once you draw them, then that character becomes yours, and you can kind of add your own special touches to it. You know, it's really up to you what you want to do with your character. And we can also add the stitches around the patches for Winston's eyes as well with our marker here. Come up there, and don't forget this line down Winston's arm here. Okay, and don't forget all the little stitches. Again, when you're creating a character, you've got to think about ways to make it stand out from all of the other characters that are kind of like it out in the world. So, you know, there's a lot of teddy bear characters out there. So I had to try to figure out some things that would make mine look unique and stand out among the crowd. And again, just adding these little details like this can really help you achieve that. So get those stitches there on the legs. And over here on this leg, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and don't forget these here. So again, if you decide to change the design on Winston's overalls, you don't have to ink in the stripes. If you want to change those, I'm going to go ahead and ink mine in though, since this Winston that I'm drawing today is going to keep the stripes on his overalls. All right, and one final row of stitches here, and the little stitches for the patch. And again, feel free to add some additional patches if you want to your Winston. And then just with a very light touch, you can actually come in here and erase your pencil lines. So you just want to have the lightest touch possible. You can use your pencil eraser, or you could get a kneaded eraser. Those work really well also. But yeah, you can just come in here and then kind of clean up your pencil, and you can see the character really looks like a final inked drawing at this point once you get all the pencil lines out of the way here. There's so many different ways that you can render your creativity. The very last step though that we have to do is sign them, because every artist should always sign their work. That is very important. That shows that we are proud of what we made and that we tried our best. So you want to put your name on your paper. I typically sign mine down here at the bottom. So you guys just sign yours wherever you think you have the most space and where you think that your drawing should be signed, because this is again your picture. Thank you all so much for joining me today to draw Winston again from my brand new book, Don't Wash Winston. Happy drawing!
Hey, Ashley, that was amazing. So cool being able to draw Winston.
Oh, thank you. Like I said, drawing is my favorite thing, and I love teaching others how to draw. If you break things down step by step, shape by shape, it can really help you improve. So I appreciate the opportunity for getting to share that.
Well, I really am happy that you showed us how to draw Winston, and it's so encouraging. I mean, I think I'm going to be able to do it myself.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Awesome. Hey, if they have their parents' permission and they draw Winston, can they take a picture and then maybe put it up on Instagram or something and tag you?
Yes, I would love that. I would love to see the world be filled with Winston bears. Yes, my Instagram is at Ashley Belote Illustration.
Awesome. And is there a website kids and parents can go to?
Yes, my website is my name, ashleybelote.com. I have a portfolio of my images there so you can see some of my other work. And there's also a page for my books specifically, so you can see the other books that I've worked on and the new things that I have coming down the pipeline as well.
I like that fancy word, portfolio. I should get one
Oh,
of those.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you should. Everybody should have a portfolio.
We've had a great time learning how to draw Winston from Don't Wash Winston. Our teacher today has been Ashley Belote. Ashley, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy drawing, everyone.